What's up, coaches? I've got a fun training for you today. You might be wondering what we mean when we tell you to take a deload week from your business. So I'm going to walk you through what this looks like. So deload weeks are like a deload week in your lifting programming or your running programming. Any training you've probably done, you don't just bang your head against the wall, training as hard as you can every week, because what happens is you end up injuring yourself, burning yourself out, and actually you stall your progress over the long term if you go super hard all the time. And the thing is, we need to do the same in business. If you are constantly banging your head against the wall, going full speed every single week, week in and week out, which is really easy to do as an entrepreneur, there's like this never-ending to-do list. If you don't manage your energy, you are going to burn out. All right. So putting a deload week into your schedule, you can do it every 6th week. You can do it every 4th week if you want to match your lunar cycle. It is a great way for you to be able to still move forward in your business, but to enjoy a little bit more of the richness of life. So just like a deload and lifting, what we do on a deload week as an entrepreneur is we do keep moving. There are still things that we're going to do, which I'll tell you about in a second. We just do it with less intensity and a focus on recovery and life outside. With lifting or training, it's like you focus on recovery and life outside the gym. With entrepreneurship, you focus on recovering from pushing in your business, and you focus on life outside of your business. And the reason that we want to do a deload week, we want to integrate the lessons that you've been learning throughout the Build workshop. Even if you are not in mentorship anymore, let's say 3 years down the road, you don't necessarily have a coach at that point, you've just got employees and a business. Well, for me personally, I'm always learning lessons from my business. But if I don't take the time to deload and to reflect on those lessons, to get them down onto paper and to think strategically, then I'm not integrating the lessons. Because ultimately, we need to give space for strategy versus execution. That's what ties into integrating the lessons. So a lot of times when we've got this to-do list, we're working so we can check things off. But the thing is, in order to figure out what is the most effective things to put onto your to-do list or onto your success list, we need to take some time to sit back and think strategically about, for example, how to make the best messaging and content for our clients and our audience. So we need to take a step back, see overall, big picture, what do we need to do in order to reach our income goals and build that business of our dreams? And the deload week gives you time to step away from execution, and it frees up your energy and your brain space to be able to think strategically and ask yourself those strategic questions that are going to allow you to push your business forward faster. The other thing about deloads, aside from avoiding entrepreneurial burnout, that's just, it's energy management. It gives you a chance to live life and not always be pushing 100%, but it's going to give all the opportunities that you've already created, let's say in the 3 weeks or 5 weeks prior to your deload, it gives those opportunities the chance to flower. So sometimes when we're constantly out there, getting in front of people, having messenger conversations, creating content, when we're in this execute mode, sometimes we don't actually give the key opportunities that we have in front of us the attention that they need in order to flower, in order to come to fruition, and for those people to become your clients. So it gives you the opportunities to bring those opportunities to the finish line. And lastly, it just gives you the opportunity to enjoy the privilege of being your own boss. Because for some of you, you're still in a full-time job, part-time job, you've come from the corporate world, now you have the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. But then if you come into it and you're working more hours than you were when you were in your job, did you really gain more freedom? No. And that's why a deload week, it really puts you into a place where you can enjoy that freedom that you've just unlocked by being on the entrepreneurial path. So some of the things that we don't want to do on a deload week are start new projects. For me, I never start a new project on deload week. I don't even finish projects from the prior block. I really make sure that I am only doing things, which I'll tell you about in a second. I'm not learning new things. I'm not going to go in and learn new concepts. I'm not going to, if for you, I wouldn't go back and, let's say, catch up on any of your build workshop modules that you may not have gotten through in the last 5 weeks. You just don't want to be putting in new inputs, because you'll learn in a second we need to take a step back, and now we need to think strategically. And too many new inputs doesn't allow your brain to take over and your subconscious to bring these ideas out. Definitely don't want to be playing catch up on work, and you definitely don't want to be working the same hours. You need to reduce the amount of hours that you're available to your clients, reduce the amount of hours you're available for calls to be booked in. We need to make sure that we are creating space on your calendar, which I'll show you in a second. And here's the things to do on Deload Week. Let's get my face out of the way. You want to nurture your current conversations versus starting new ones. So you don't want to just go radio silent on all of the opportunity that you have in Messenger, DMs, email for a full week. If you're going on vacation, sure, let those people know you're going on vacation. But on a Deload Week, you just nurture those current conversations. You continue moving those down the path. If new inbound ones come in, you can nurture those as well, but you're not going to go out and outbound start new conversations. You also don't necessarily want to do any micro commitment challenges or big opportunity generating posts, because then you're going to be stuck commenting back to people, opening up a bunch of new messages, and that's just not conducive to the relaxation, the recovery, and the strategic thinking that you need on a Deload Week. You do want to make sure you're continuing to serve your clients and provide that VIP experience and communicate clear boundaries. So you need to let them know, hey, there's this thing I do. I take a Deload Week every 5th week or every 4th week, and I'm going to be available to you, but this is when I'm working. So this is when I'll be able to reply to messages, and my calendar is a little bit limited if you're booking in calls with your clients. So communicate those boundaries and what they can expect, that they're still going to get the VIP service, but you're taking this time because put it in the terms of value to them. It allows you to be a better coach to them. You will take triage calls and sales calls, but like I said, try to limit it. How much time is actually available on your calendar for those. You can always book it in for the following week, because sometimes after a Deload Week, your opportunity might drop. If you're not putting out scheduled and pre-written content, your opportunity might be lower the next week, because we've got leading and lagging indicators. And if you're not creating opportunity during a Deload Week, opportunity might drop the next week. So you might put some of the triage or sales calls that they want to book in this week. If they can't get it into the limited calendar you have, get them onto the next week. We do want to take time for strategic thinking, which I can teach you how to do. If you don't already know, we want to integrate the lessons that you've already learned. So you don't want to put in new information, but you might want to review your notes from the last chunk of Build Workshop modules that you went through. Definitely doing a little bit of reflection on your big takeaways. Integrate that learning into your brain, into your nervous system, so you don't have to constantly go back and rewatch these videos. Make sure you're taking copious notes, you're reviewing those notes, and you're just getting that information into your brain the first time. And lastly, inner work. Those personal foundations that we've worked on, your mindset routines, maybe getting a little bit more meditation or expanding out your morning routine so that you are feeling amazing every single day. And lastly, the thing that we want to do is we want to enjoy the richness of life. This is so important. Make sure that you see your friends, see your family, walk your dog, get out into nature, whatever fills your cup. You want to actually schedule it in on a Deload Week. So for me, my next Deload Week, this might date this training because I'm sure this will be used for a decade to come. But for me, my next Deload Week is this week here. So I am going to put a few things in, like block out time for surfing. I don't know if surfing is going to be good this week, but I know that I want to block some time to surf in the mornings. I love, love, love surfing in the morning. And if I don't go surfing, maybe I'll go to a waterfall or something like that. But I'm going to actually, I don't know why that did that, but essentially you're going to want to go into your calendar just like that. And you're going to want to just block out time on your calendar that you can get into nature, go for a surf, hang with your family. Maybe you put an hour block on and you just get into your phone and you start dialing friends, giving them calls, and just having a conversation to fill your cup. If you don't, this is really important to put it on your calendar. Don't skip this step, because if it's not on the calendar, it's really easy for you to think, I've got nothing to do. And then if you have nothing to do, this is one of the main challenges I faced with my first few deload weeks, is I didn't put things that allowed me to enjoy the richness of life into my calendar. And when I was just sitting there kind of twiddling my thumbs, wondering what I should do, my natural default, because I had just pushed for, probably a year straight, this was my first deload week, my natural inclination was to do work. So then I'd pick up my phone and I would be in my emails, replying to emails instead of deloading and enjoying the richness of life. But if you block it out on your calendar and you hold that time sacred, then you're doing things right. And you want to do that from your first deload week, because if you do not put that time in your calendar, you will most likely default to work. And we do not want that. We want time for strategic thinking. You should even potentially block out a block of time just to reflect, maybe on a Saturday. For me, I do my reflection on a Sunday. And that's deload weeks. We really want to make sure that you're staying accountable to this. So when you do have deload weeks come up, let us know in the Facebook group, and that way we can support you and make sure that you're actually sticking to this thing that should be so easy: relaxing, recovering, enjoying life, but for some people can be very hard.